beautiful person, it's V from Movies Hunter, the channel that's all about making movie watching even more boring. Just kidding, today I'll be taking you on a wild ride through the thrilling, action-packed, and oh so hilarious 2014 film, The Invisible Boy. Wow. Buckle up folks, it's about to get interesting, or not, I don't know. At the start of this wild ride, we see a little fella named Michel pedaling his way to school, somewhere in Italy. Little does he know he is about to have the adventure of a lifetime. As he goes into his classroom, he takes a seat behind the object of his affection, Stella, and because he's got a little crush, he decides to take a secret video of her. Just when things were getting good, in walks a police officer named Giovanna, and if you can believe it, she's also Michel's mom. Talk about awkward. Anyway, she is on a mission to find out what happened to a missing student named Martino. She asks all the students to come forward with any information they might have. As she exits the scene, Michel's nose starts gushing like a faucet. He rushes to the bath to stem the flow, but not before two bullies steal all his hard-earned cash. He is heartbroken because he was saving up to buy a costume for a party. Dejected and broke, Michel scours the town for a costume he can afford. He stumbles into a tiny shop and asks for a superhero costume. The shopkeeper hands him a plain skin-tight suit and says, "Enjoy!" Although it's not exactly what he had in mind, Michel takes the costume and makes his way to the party. When Giovanna swings open the front door, she spots Michel in his superhero costume, looking as if he is about to save the world, except he's not. "What's the deal, chump?" Giovanna asks. "Why the long face?" "I don't look cool, Mom," Michel replies. "I don't want to go to the party. Everyone will laugh at me." Now, Giovanna is like, "Wow, I didn't know superheroes cared about being cool. I mean, they're saving the world. What's a little laughter compared to that?" Blah, blah, blah. So, Michel reluctantly follows Giovanna to the party, where he ends up chatting with the stunning Stella. He is finally starting to have a good time when the bullies come in, ruining the party with a recorded video of Stella. "Who did this?" Stella demands, looking around the room. The bullies point to Michel. "We found it on his phone. He has been stalking you." Michel's face turns red as a tomato and he runs to the bathroom, locking himself in. "I wish I had the power to become invisible," he mutters to himself. And just like that, he jumps out the bathroom window and sprints home. The next morning, Michel rubs his eyes and walks to the bathroom to brush his teeth. He looks in the mirror and to his shock, he is actually invisible. What the He takes off his robe and sees that his entire body has disappeared. Just then, his mama walks in looking for her morning coffee and can't find her son anywhere. Michel quickly scribbles a note, "Gone to school early," and leaves it on the bed. He is completely enchanted by his new power, but decides to go to school, covering himself head to toe in long-sleeve clothes. Now that's one way to make an entrance. At school, Michel sees his long-term tormentor and decides it's finally time to get his revenge. So, with a smirk, he strips down and walks into the school with his powers at the ready. Naked and invisible, he decides to start his campaign of vengeance in the classroom. With a quick grab, Michel snatches the bully's paintball gun and opens fire on the hapless teacher. And, like a true hero, he manages to get the bully suspended for his trouble. Next up, the tennis court. With a flick of his wrist, Michel makes sure the bully loses the game. With a little extra help from some mischievous ghosts, of course. But what's a good victory without a sight of embarrassment? So, our hero sneaks into the girls' changing room to enjoy the show. Ugh. But as fate would have it, one of the girls unknowingly throws a towel on top of him, exposing him for all to see. Good for him! And as the towel is lifted, the girls scream in horror at the sight of a naked Michel, just sitting there looking completely unfazed. When Giovanna finds out, she tries to get to the bottom of things, but our protagonist simply tells her that he is perfectly fine and that he doesn't want to burden her with his powers. And as if that's not enough drama for one day, Giorgio, the psychologist, comes to lecture the students on mental health, probably due to all the disappearing students. But let's face it, with a hero like Michel in the scene, what can possibly go wrong? As the lecture ends, Michel's hand starts to shimmer like a firefly. Before anyone could catch on, he makes a quick exit, like a prince. When he returns home, he finds his little sis Candela snooping around in his room. In an attempt to hide his shiny new superpower, Michel faces the wall trying to blend in. But little sis Candela ain't no fool and immediately senses something is up. "What are you hiding, bro?" Michel, sweating bullets, tells her to beat it, but Candela's not about to leave that easily. Just as she pretends to leave, Michel drops the charade and reveals his new invisible state. Candela lets out a blood-curdling scream, thinking her brother has vanished into thin air. "Relax, sis, it's just me, your invisible bro," Michel says, trying to calm her down. He explains that his costume might have given him the power of invisibility, but the downside is that he has no control over when he becomes visible or invisible. Meanwhile, at the police station, it's all hands on deck as the officers and the shrink try to figure out what's going on with all these disappearing kids. Giovanna is convinced it's a kidnapping, but Giorgio thinks the kids just ran away from home, which is par for the course for that age. When Giovanna goes back home, she gives her mama a ring-a-ding-a-ding on the old telephone and drops a bomb. Guess what, ma? Our dear Michel is actually an adopted son. Little does she know, the cat's out of the bag and Michel's ears are ringing with this newsflash. He hightails it to the nearest swing to ponder this life-altering revelation. The fearless Stella then stumbles upon the swinging ghost. Instead of running for the hills, this girl asks, "Can I be your friend? I'm not scared of you, ghosty." And thus begins a beautiful friendship. One starry night, Michel finally musters up the courage to meet his invisible BFF face to face. Stella is giddy with excitement, blissfully unaware that she is falling head over heels for a guy she can't see. But before they can share a smooch, Michel's power starts fizzling out like a cheap sparkler on the 4th of July. So, he beats a hasty retreat before Stella can see his face and think, "Whoa, what is up with that guy?" Later on, Stella's practicing her gymnastics routine when boom! Out of nowhere, a tranquilizer dart takes her down for the count. Michel sees a masked man sneaking off with Stella in his arms. "Not so fast, buddy," he exclaims and tries to save the day. But alas, the masked man proves to be too quick for him. Stella wakes up feeling confused, surrounded by doctors in lab coats. They poke and prod her like she is a science experiment gone wrong. Little does she know she's about to become the main attraction in a high-stakes game of human guinea pig. Meanwhile, Michel is chilling on the beach trying to figure out his next move. That's when he is approached by a blind man with a mysterious aura. This guy knows everything before Michel even has a chance to ask. It turns out he is none other than Andrei, Michel's long-lost father. Andrei spends a wild tale about a small town in Russia that was destroyed by a nuclear explosion. The survivors mutated, gaining superpowers that the government wants to harness and turn into weapons. But there's a catch. The more they use their powers, the weaker they become. Andrei and Yelena were two lovebirds who found themselves in a military camp where they fell head over heels for each other. But little did they know their love is about to change their lives forever. You see, they had a little bundle of joy named Michel, who was born with superpowers that put the X-Men to shame. The government, being the fun suckers that they are, took Michel away from them. But Andrei and Yelena were not about to let that happen. They decided to make a run for it with their son. But when the camp's goons started closing in, Yelena heroically stayed back to slow them down, while Andrei booked it with Michel as far as possible. Unfortunately, Yelena paid the ultimate price for their freedom, but Andrei and Michel managed to escape to Europe. Andrei knew that his son was not safe with him, so he handed him over to the one and only Giovanna to raise him. But little did they know the people from the camp were hot on their trail, and they had a sinister plan to find the next generation of superpowered beings by kidnapping children. Just your regular, typical sci-fi movie. That's when Andrei hands over to Michel a suit that's straight out of a, again, sci-fi movie. It's got the ability to turn invisible and makes Michel disappear with it. And before you know it, Andrei says his goodbyes and splits, leaving Michel to his own devices. Just when everything seems to be calm, Giorgio shows up with a suspicious injury on his hand. Michel, being the sharp cookie that he is, notices that his injury is in the exact same place where he attacked the masked man. Michel, the amateur detective, suddenly realizes that he might just be the kidnapper. Oops. Time to hit the road, Jack. But wait, Giorgio's got the joint on lockdown and there's no escape. But fear not, Michel's got a secret weapon, his mom's invisibility suit. He dons it and, like a ninja, sneaks out of the house. On the street, he enlists the help of a neighborhood bully, who knew the bully had arrived, right? Together, they head to a safe place where Michel reveals his superhero identity. Meanwhile, Stella and the hostages are trying to make a break for it by climbing through the vents. Stella is the first to escape and, in a moment of pure brilliance, signals Michel with a flashing smiley face on a tower light. Michel and the bully follow the light, and when they finally arrive, Stella is caught by the guards. But fear not, the bully's got a paintball gun and he is not afraid to use it. With a well-placed shot, he causes an electric malfunction, allowing Michel to swoop in and save the day. But wait, what is this? It is Giorgio and his henchmen, keeping an eye on Giovanna and Andrei, who are looking for Michel together. Michel, the man of the hour, decides it's time to bust his friends out of jail. He takes out one guard with a swift move and points a gun at another guard like a boss, demanding he open the cell where Stella and the gang are trapped. His friends are shocked to see Michel all grown up and ready for action. But boom! Oh wait, there's more. Stella decides they can't just leave an old man left up, because that's just not her style. So Michel and Stella go save the old man. But wait for it, turns out that the old man is actually the Big Daddy, who has the power to control minds. He has been controlling Giorgio and Stella to lure Michel to him. Meanwhile, Andre and Giovanna reach the port where they find the bully, and things are about to get explosive. The old man orders his men to bring down the submarine with Michelle and Stella inside it. And let's not forget, the building is packed with explosives and counting down to a big boom. Giovanna saves the 2 children from the building and frantically searches for Michelle, but he's nowhere to be found. Michelle discovers he's got a little something extra in his bag of tricks and uses it to take down an evil submarine like it's a Lego set. And just when you thought it could get any better, he hops on an escape pod with the lovely Stella and rises to the surface like a superhero phoenix named Super Mario. But wait, there's more. Michelle decides to show off his new invisible powers to the masses and prove that superheroes are real. Little did he know, Andre is ready to rain on his parade and tells him that flaunting his powers is like waving a red flag at a bull. So, what's a superhero to do? Remove everyone's memories of the whole shebang, of course. But hold the phone. Yelena's not dead after all. It turns out she's been ruling the division with an iron fist this whole time, and she has got her sights on finding her long-lost children, including Michelle's twin sister Natasha, hiding in Morocco. Now, will Yelena reunite with her children and rule the world, or will Andre's powers be enough to keep everyone safe? We'll find out in the sequel of the movie. And so this was the story of the Invisible Boy. It's pretty useless and stupid, but I'm gonna see you in the next hunt.